The bull had grown used to loneliness. Years of wandering the dry mesas had carved silence into his bones. He had once belonged to men, raised for strength, for show, and for the cruel games of the arena. But when they judged him too stubborn, too heavy, too slow to charge, they left him in the scrublands, as if his life were worth less than the dust under his hooves. They called him El Fantasma, the ghost bull. His body bore the scars of ropes and spears, his horns curved like white scythes. Villagers sometimes caught glimpses of him at twilight, a hulking shadow against the blood-red sky. Nobody tried to catch him anymore. It was a reminder of something they would rather forget. The bull lived alone, grazing by scattered creeks, bedding down in hollowed gullies, moving like a ghost across the land. And perhaps he would have remained alone had he not heard the cry one morning that would change everything. It came on the wind thin, desperate, like the torn whinny of a creature too young to be without its mother. The bull lifted his head from the grass, ears twitching. His nostrils flared, catching the scent. Hoarse, but faint, mixed with fear. He followed the sound across the ridge, his heavy hooves thudding softly on the earth. The cries grew sharper, frantic. At the base of a ravine, he saw it. A foal no more than a few weeks old, its spindly legs trembling as it tried to stand. Its coat was a patchwork of brown and white, its mane ragged. The foal's flank bore a smear of dried blood. A mountain lion must have taken its mother. The carcass lay not far off, already swarmed by scavenger birds. The foal had survived, but barely. It stumbled in circles, calling into emptiness, too young to understand why no one answered. The bull descended into the ravine, his bulk casting a long shadow. The foal froze, its wide eyes filled with terror. To it, he must have seemed like a monster, horned and massive. It staggered backward, legs folding beneath it, but it had no strength left to flee. The bull stopped a few paces away. He did not lower his horns or bellow. He only breathed a deep, steady exhale that stirred dust from the ground. The foal whimpered, then collapsed where it stood. For a long moment, the bull only watched. He remembered the taunts of men in the ring, the way they had tried to force him into violence. He remembered hunger, solitude, the sting of being discarded, and something stirred inside him, a recognition. Here was another abandoned life. Slowly, the bull lowered his massive head and nudged the foal's side with his muzzle. It squeaked weakly, but did not resist. He nudged again, firmer this time, coaxing it to its feet. The foal wobbled, but stood, legs like reeds in the wind. It pressed instinctively closer to him, as if sensing that the giant would not harm it. That night, under a sky littered with stars, the foal lay curled against the bull's side. Coyotes prowled in the distance, their howls sharp in the cold air, but none dared approach the horned guardian. The ghost bull had found a companion. Days bled into weeks. The foal learned to walk with more strength, trailing behind the bull like a shadow. Where the bull led, the foal followed. When they reached streams, the bull waited as the foal lowered its head to drink. When they crossed rocky ground, the bull slowed his pace so the foal would not stumble. The land was not kind. Predators watched with hungry eyes. Once, a pack of coyotes circled them at dusk, snapping their jaws. The bull lowered his horns and thundered forward, scattering them with a bellow so fierce the earth seemed to shake. The foal pressed against him, trembling but safe. Another time a storm swept across the plains. Lightning cracked the sky, rain pounding the earth into mud. The foal, terrified, bolted into the night. The bull chased, his body crashing through the storm like a living wall. He found the foal trapped in a flooded gully, its small body sinking fast. Without hesitation, the bull waded in, his horns hooking beneath the foal's belly, lifting it to solid ground. He stood over it all night, shielding it from the storm with his bulk. Trust grew between them. The foal stopped flinching at his shadow. It began to mimic him, lowering its head to graze when he grazed, pausing when he paused. Sometimes, when they rested beneath mesquite trees, the foal nibbled at his ear. A playful gesture that almost made the bull seem young again. He had once been abandoned to silence. Now he had a reason to walk, to fight, to breathe. But men had not forgotten El Fantasma. One afternoon, riders appeared on the ridge ranchers on horseback, rifles slung across their shoulders. They had long wanted the ghost bull gone, fearing he would mix with their herds or damage their lands. The sight of him traveling with a Mustang Foal only made them angrier. That foal was wild stock worth money. To them it was not a child under protection. It was property. "There he is," one rancher spat. "The cursed bull and the foal. We'll take the horse and put a bullet in that monster." The bull sensed their presence before the foal did. His ears twitched. His nostrils caught the smell of sweat and iron. He turned, eyes narrowing. The foal nickered nervously, stepping behind him. The men advanced. One raised his rifle. The bull roared. It was not the roar of an animal goaded by cruelty in the arena. It was the roar of a guardian. He charged, horns lowered, tearing across the open ground with terrifying speed. The riders scattered, horses screaming. A shot rang out, grazing his shoulder, but he did not stop. He slammed into one rider's mount, toppling horse and man alike. The foal bolted, then stopped, as if remembering that to flee meant leaving him behind. It whinnied, panicked, as the bull fought. Another shot cracked. Blood sprayed across his flank. But the bull drove forward, forcing the men back until they fled over the ridge, dragging their wounded with them. Breathing hard, the bull stood trembling. Blood dripped from his wounds. The foal rushed to him, nuzzling his chest, whimpering. He lowered his head, touching the foal's mane as if to say, "I am not finished yet." They moved on, deeper into the wilderness where men rarely came. Seasons passed. The foal grew taller, stronger, its muscles rippling beneath its sleek coat. It's no longer frail. It could gallop beside the bull with the grace of the wind. But no matter how swift it became, it never strayed far. They became a legend whispered around campfires. The ghost bull and the wild Mustang wandering together as kin. Some claimed they had seen them standing side by side at dawn, silhouettes cut against the rising sun. Others swore the bull could drive off wolves and coyotes with a single bellow, the foal safe at his flank. The bull aged. His steps grew slower. His wounds ached when the air turned cold, but his spirit never dimmed. The foal, grown into a stallion, stayed by him, guarding as once he had been guarded. One winter, the bull collapsed in the snow, his body finally failing. The stallion circled him, whinnying in distress. The bull raised his head one last time, pressing his muzzle against the stallion's shoulder, a silent blessing. Then he lay still. The stallion stood vigil through the night. When dawn came, he lifted his head and let out a cry that echoed across the frozen plains, a cry of grief, but also of strength. From that day forward, the stallion roamed the wild lands with the spirit of the bull etched into him. Where he ran, predators fled. Where he stood, the wind seemed to pause. And those who saw him swore they could still glimpse the ghost bull walking beside him. The story lived on, of an abandoned bull who saved an abandoned foal, two lost souls who found family in each other, and of how love, even in the wilderness, can shape legends that never die.